Hello everyone, Miss Carrie here from Miss Carrie's Creations. Today I'm taking a break from holidays and winter to share a vivid page you can make using floral die cuts, stencils, and bright pattern papers. It has been freezing cold, snowy, and dreary for weeks here, and I needed to create something to lift my spirits. I'm going to be using some components from the It's a New Day HipKit collection. This was a September kit, and it's filled with bright papers, stickers, and ephemera that I want to use. On this page, I'm going to be using this Snapshot title from the January Fox box. I used some of the elements from this collection on a layout last month, and I just love this new font. Along with all of these items, I'm also going to be using the Kisses stencil and the film strip die. I'll probably bring in a few other items that I have stashed away. In the description below is a list of the supplies I'm using today. I'm going to start with a white background, and I'm going to layer some of my pattern papers to create a frame for my photo. I prefer to use black and white photos when I have bright pattern papers, unless that photo has the exact same color palette as my patterns. On the left side of the layout, I'm going to layer 2 pattern paper strips. I have added a little water to one of these strips to make the tearing easier. I'm going to layer these 2 together and then I'll adhere them in place. I am using liquid adhesive because I want to add some stitching to this later on, and it's not good for your sewing machine to stitch through tape adhesive. Once that glue is dry, my machine will go right through it without any issues. Behind the photo, I'm going to layer a soft blue and soft pink pattern that match those 2 paper strips I've already added to the page. Next to the photo, I want to add some film strip pieces. I cut one layer from pattern paper and another from dark blue cardstock. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to be adding this in front or behind the photo, so I'm just going to set it here in place. Now that I have determined where I want some of these elements to go, I want to add some stenciling in the background. I'm going to be using a very soft pink color to create some little X's. I don't use pink very often, but I felt like this page called for it, and that softer color is going to pair well with the other patterns I've used behind the photo. I'm using a blender brush with some spun sugar ink, and I'm softly adding the images. I don't want to add too many, and I'm not filling them in completely. I just want a few of these scattered in the background. Off camera, I layered the pattern papers and added them to the page. The edges were distressed a little bit, and they are offset some so that the colors peek through. I did cut 2 sets of film strips, and they're going to be layered on the left side. These do overlap a little bit, so I'm hoping to add some embellishments where they overlap so that you won't see the little disruption in pattern. I have also added a horizontal pattern strip off to the right, a journaling card, and I've placed that title there at the top. After adding that perspective title from the January Fox box, I felt like the film strips needed to be a little bit higher, but I'd already stuck them down. So to add a little height to this, I brought in 2 tags. One is a label sticker that I trimmed down, and the other is a cardstock sticker. To match that rainbow pattern in the tag, I brought in an ampersand and stuck it onto the film strip. Over the top of that, I added a little phrase that says, "I never get tired of this." Now, I want to bring in more embellishments, phrases, and florals. My goal is to fill this page up with sayings and fun items that reflect the personality of these 2 girls. As I'm selecting items, I'm trying my best to choose specific colors of flowers, phrases, and icons. As I add elements to the layout, you're going to see me cover up some portions of the die cuts or cut them apart or layer other pieces on top of others. This is so that only the colors I want to use show up on the die cuts on the page. When you have a kit with bright elements like this, I find that it's best to use a set color palette and add a little bit of neutral colors like black for balance. That's why I chose the black perspective title. I'm using some black leaves and I'm adding some black sentiments in a triangle formation. Black tends to balance out those bright colors, and it's also going to draw your eye to that black and white photo. At this point, I have almost all the elements stuck down. I still need to add my journaling to the card, so I haven't tacked down that camera piece yet. Before I do that, I do want to add a little bit more stenciling in the lower corner. I did end up covering up the stenciled images with some of my elements, and I want to bring more of that pink color to this area. Now I'm going to do my best to add these without masking off the elements I've already stuck down. Since I'm not filling in the stencil completely, I think this is going to work out all right. So I'm going to go ahead and go off camera, type up my story, and then I'll share the completed page with you. Off camera, I added the stitching along the side of the layout, and I added some to the blue horizontal strip on the side. I used a word processing program to type up the journaling on this tag, and then I added a little bow at the top. I finished off the page with some multicolor dots and a loop of twine through the tag. I'm going to share a few close-ups so that you can see this page in a little more detail. Wintertime is the perfect time to pull out those bright patterns and ephemera to create something cheery and fun. I kept the design of this page simple with some soft stenciling in the background, layers of paper, floral ephemera, and a black and white photo as the focal point. If you are one who likes to pin projects to inspiration boards, I have placed these still shots on my website so you can grab those there. I want to thank you for joining me for another scrapbook project. If you have any questions about this project or the supplies listed in the description below, feel free to leave me a comment. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see what you create.